This is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning December 26th, 2022. So, to start off, we've got the moon in conjunction with Saturn early on Monday. And Saturn in Aquarius, like the moon in Aquarius, is very future oriented. We are feeling rather projective about our goals, our aims, our ambitions. And this is perfect because we are inching closer to 2023. And with the moon with Saturn and in Aquarius, although we are looking to the future, we are feeling a little bit chilly emotionally. Not that we can't express our love, our moods, and affections, which, yes, we can, but with the day after Christmas, we are feeling like we just want to connect with our friends, with our groups. It's kind of a very freedom, liberating connection with the moon and Saturn. Kind of like now we are looking ahead to 2023 and how can we connect with each other? How do we shape up as far as our humanity, our friends, our friendliness, and how can we help each other? And that's very positive for a forward looking 2023. It's all about our charity, our friends, our future, definitely. And however, our emotions may be a bit tempered and a bit more rational and logic oriented. This is the day to have a very good intellectual discussion. We might be looking ahead for our education, studying, and also, of course, Aquarius is about technology. So this is the time that a lot of discussions on Monday are going to revolve about the internet, anything, social media, the collective groups. It's about making plans with friends or group activity. But yes, if you are technically inclined or very intellectual, Monday is your day. And thank goodness it is just past the square off with Uranus and, of course, the North Node. However, Saturn does make a bit of a wide square off to retrograde Uranus within 6 degrees. So there is a possibility still of earthquakes and weather, earth changes related and the like. And that also includes any kind of conflicts, sudden disputes, and so on and so forth, especially connected with, well, groups and the collective and so on. And especially since we've got this stellium here in Capricorn with the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto, and Mercury in pre-shadow retrograde Capricorn, and that will go retrograde on the 29th this week of December. So with the depositor Saturn and the moon now, there may be some popular connection with the powers that be, especially on Monday. Some kind of issue that really gets us going, really moves us, and it may involve the, the collective, groups of people. It may involve technology and so on and so forth. Or it could be negative or it could be positive, connected with government, authorities, and so on. So we'll have to wait and see what transpires this Monday, the 26th of December. But as always, even though Saturn is making an extremely wide square off with retrograde Uranus, it is, as always, expect the unexpected. And as aforementioned again, especially connected with these planets in Capricorn and Saturn, now with the moon in Aquarius. But we've got some good news here additionally with Neptune still in Pisces, and that makes a sweet sextile to both Venus, the planet of love, affection, and beauty, Mercury, the communicator, and even Pluto, the powerhouse. Sun is still at 5 degrees of Capricorn, but this stellium making a sweet water earth sextile to Neptune is very positive because it kind of gives us grounding. And a lot of times when you have planets within the stellium, within very close proximity to degree, generally the stellium acts as like one planet or one unit. So breaking it down, however, it's about Venus, the planet of love, affection, and beauty, is grounded by Neptune in watery Pisces, very creative influence. Mercury, although in pre-shadow retrograde, is sextile to Neptune, and that's great for clear thinking, clear speaking, also very creative as well, very effective. Pluto, the powerhouse with Neptune, it is about how we conduct ourselves, our energy, how we use our personal power to achieve our ends, our means. And with Pluto, with sweet Neptune, Pisces, it's about really expressing ourselves effectively now. So, this trio, stellium, what have you, of Capricorn is really positive with this water Pisces Neptune. It's about clarity, about creativity, and expressing ourselves and taking action effectively. And that's very positive. And yes, the sun is at 5 degrees Capricorn and making a really wide square to Jupiter. So we may have a feeling of a tad bit of overconfidence now, but that's not so bad, especially with all this Capricorn influence. We are feeling very positive about the future as well. We just have to be careful a little bit of spending or going overboard with having to assert our confidence and our personality just a bit there. And we've got the North Node with retrograde Uranus still. And yes, we will have to still be leery of conflicts, earth changes, and the like. Mars is yet retrograde in Gemini, and its depositor is, interestingly enough, pre-shadow retrograde uh, Mercury in Capricorn. So that only may add to our frustrations. We're going to have to be just a tad bit patient this week, and especially coming up during the time of Mercury in Capricorn retrograde. So let's go to the following day. That's a lot going on for Monday. And we're going to go forward a day into Tuesday. And now the moon is in compassionate, sensitive Pisces. Yes, indeed. And that is making a sweet sextile to the sun. Again, it's that earth water connection about productivity, and our emotions are softened with this connection with the sun. And as anything, especially with earth and water, this is very grounding. it's one thing right now. We're looking ahead to the new year, maybe what we want to do in the future. But with the moon and the sun, it kind of gives us a little bit of grounding in our emotions. We're not getting too carried away with drama or crisis effect kind of thing. It's about really taking the sensible approach and feeling that we want to be rather grounded and not so dramatic about anything. That's very positive indeed on Tuesday. However, there is a square off with the moon and retrograde Gemini Mars. So, yes, that highlights this connection with secretive Neptune. So, yes, we may be suspicious of hidden information, secrets, and so on. But what is Gemini and what is Mars? Mars is about action, Gemini is about communication. And with Mars and Gemini and squaring off the moon, it kind of makes us feel a little bit irritable on Tuesday. So, on one hand, we don't want to get too carried away with emotionalism or anything that's too crisis oriented. But with Mars squaring off the moon, it gives us a little sense that something's just not right. A little bit of that edgy atmosphere, a little bit of feeling a little bit combative. But at least we have the sweet sextile to keep our feet on the ground that day. Yes, indeed. And the moon is in a bit of a wide uh, sextile to very original, creative, retrograde or Uranus. So anything that transpired either Sunday or Monday, then the moon with Uranus is kind of tempering this unexpected atmosphere and really giving us some good common sense. Yes, indeed. And the moon is making a trine with the South Node in Scorpio and as well as the North Node in Taurus. So this is really sweet for our sensitivities. We're feeling a little bit compassionate on Tuesday, or somehow maybe we are the ones that are reaching out and being compassionate or charitable to others. Yes, indeed. So let's look ahead to the following day, and that we're going to move forward to Wednesday. And Wednesday is the 28th, and we've got the moon with Neptune. Now it's past the square off to Mars, so we're feeling a little bit more well with the program, so to speak, on Wednesday. The moon in Neptune with Neptune puts us in a little better mood. It's kind of dreamy. But guess what? We have a sweet sextile now with the moon, with Pluto, Venus, and Mercury. So there again is that earth and water connection, but now with the moon. So it's one thing that we really want to make plans, but this is very constructive because not only is it creative with Mercury and Venus, they're even a dash of powerful Pluto in a good mood that day with the moon in Pisces. But it gives us a really strong sense of work and work hard and work ethic. And this is really good. So it's one thing we're a little bit dreamy about the future and it's about our humanity. Maybe we're really into a lot of technical stuff right now. But with this moon with Neptune, it's about our sensitivities projected very well. In so many words, we are very kind hearted to those closest to us, but we're not going overboard or really, really. caught up in deception or our edginess. It's more or less about being very intelligent and taking action. And that's what's important here. It's about taking action, about our goals, our ambitions. It's very, very constructive and being very crystal clear about what we want, as aforementioned, and just really being very creative. It's just a very fine connection with the moon, Neptune in conjunction with Venus, Mercury, and Pluto, kind of acting as not just a stellium, but one unit with Moon, Neptune in Pisces. So this is the day that we are really writing down our plans. We are executing action, and that is very positive, especially coming into a new year. Yes, indeed. And so we also, by the way, have Mars in retrograde in Gemini with making, applying here within the month a sweet sextile with Jupiter. Not as of yet because Mars is still retrograde, but at 9 degrees and Jupiter is only at 0 degrees, 50 minutes almost into one. But that's coming up here very soon, and that also will add a great deal of encouragement and positivity to our sense of wealth, prosperity, and luck. It's also a very lucky influence indeed. Let's look ahead a day, and we are going into Thursday. And now we've got the moon with lucky Jupiter in Aries. That is very positive for making plans, almost like the sextile Earth and water connection with Neptune. However, there is a square off now with the moon at 5 degrees of Aries and the sun. And anytime you have that square off, it's about what? It's about our confidence, especially connected with the sun. So this can either mean two things. It can be that we are a bit overconfident about our abilities and really might trip ourselves up, especially since this is so forward looking right now. Or we may feel like we're a little low ebb on the energy, and we may feel the opposite. Like right now, we're feeling a little bit listless, or we're feeling like we don't have the confidence enough to really take off on our plans. Or maybe we're feeling a little bit negative right now. And especially since both Jupiter and the moon in Aries are kind of like Capricorn. They're both cardinal signs and they both love to lead. They're both natural leaders, both Capricorn and Aries. So there could be some frustrations right now, especially if you are now trying to move forward with those creative plans or projects, business ideas, what have you. You don't want to get into any tit for tat or struggles right now because, one person has better creative ideas than the other, or, we're just feeling a little bit overconfident or underconfident. Also, with the moon with Jupiter, Jupiter is about luck, it's about our prosperity and wealth and all of that good stuff with Jupiter. So we have to be careful right now of a tendency to overspend too. You do want to just keep an eye on the pocketbook because in a pinch later on, you may find that somehow you spent more than you were aware. So another connection with the moon, with Jupiter. But it does give us a good positive feeling that everything is going to work out and very likely with most of these aspects with this chart this week, it likely will. So let's look ahead another day to the start of the weekend on Friday, December the 30th. And now the moon is well into the sign of Aries, past the conjunction with Jupiter, and Jupiter is inching closer to that sextile to retrograde Mars, another very fortunate influence and very productive as far as taking action. So, as aforementioned, yes, this chart is all about the future. It's all about planning and it's all about being grounded. It's also a lot about discussions about what? Business, finance. So it's one thing we are looking to the future, but when you add in this Capricorn emphasis, we are really going to be planning about our monetary future, investments, real estate, and the like. This is the time this week when we might be doing some very good banking and looking into buying or selling that house, zipping up some of those investments, and so on. Very, very grounding for the future of our finances indeed. And we are feeling ever so lucky and positive with Mars slowly falling into a sextile with happy-go-lucky Jupiter. Yes, indeed. And let's look ahead another day. And now we're coming into officially the weekend for Saturday. And still, we've got that stellium in Capricorn. And yet now closer exact with Pluto and Venus. Now, with Venus and Pluto come Saturday, that's upping the intensity atmosphere, and with now officially retrograde Mercury, we will have to just watch how we speak, what we say on Saturday, because again, there's not a lot of negative aspects other than the conjunctions to each other, except for the sun, of course. We are feeling like we want to move forward with our plans. We have the plans mapped out, maybe written down. We know what we want, but with Mercury there, and especially Mercury now officially retrograde, Mars retrograde, and the depositor is Mercury. Well, we want to go, 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 especially with Mars and Gemini. We want to just move along as quick as we can. We want to get things done, but Mercury and Mars are putting on the brakes, and that can create conflicts come Saturday with this retrograde connection and wanting to hurry and feel restlessness with Mars in Gemini and Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Then you've got both Mercury and Venus, especially conjoining Pluto again. Can't say it enough. The powerhouse. But Pluto, because it's connected with Scorpio, it's connected with the eighth house, it's all about our passion. And with Pluto, that can always up the drama sometime. And thank goodness we have that sweet sextile with Neptune that kind of tempers our moods and our reactions into a more, well, practical, sensible reaction, because Pluto, Venus, and Mercury are feeling rather zesty right now, even in the earthy Capricorn sign. So on Saturday, watch your words. Don't want to be a little bit too edgy with that Pluto connection and or sarcastic. You want to be take a hint from that sextile with Neptune. You want to be more kind-hearted, sweet-spirited, not mean-spirited. You want to be charitable. You want to be kind, not get into power plays with the emotions, with our affections, what we have to say or react to harshly. So, looking ahead, we've got, of course, we do have now, as I mentioned, the applying sextile between Jupiter and Mars. That's very productive, getting those projects out the door. And the moon is early on in Taurus and applying a conjunction with both unique, the unexpected Uranus, and the very sensitive North and South nodes as an applying opposition. So let's look ahead to the final day of the week, which is Sunday. And now we still have this sweet stellium with retrograde Mercury in Capricorn, kind of applying the theme from the day before. Don't want to get too lost in words or sarcasm, power plays, and so on, especially with Saturn now. Oh my goodness, on Sunday, because we've got the applying square off to Saturn and the moon in Taurus, especially later on Sunday and going into early Monday. And what does that mean? Anytime there is the square off with Saturn and the moon and now Uranus, especially since the depositor of Saturn and Aquarius now is Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So there may be some earthquakes, earth changes, and the like on Sunday, especially late Sunday, and as we go into Monday. And as always, Aquarius is about the collective, the public eye, also to some degree connected with the media. So right now there could be some sudden, unexpected rash behavior. Let's temper our reactions, not get too carried away with disputes and chaos, especially now because we have group-oriented Aquarius with the square off with Uranus and now the moon. And the moon is always connected with groups, the collective, and so on. So also because now to add to this intense atmosphere, we have this stellium of Capricorn with Pluto. So it's one thing we're feeling really passionate about whatever our ideals, our principles, our personal belief systems are now, but we're kind of taking that intensity and turning up the volume come Sunday and Monday. So right now, if there are some differences of opinions, especially connected with our belief system, our principles, ideals, and so on, this is the time you want to not move forward and really be overbearing about expressing that, but you want to kind of pull back. Do take a hint of this sextile between Neptune, the sensitive, kind-hearted Neptune, although a little bit nebulous, but in this case, very clear-minded, practical sextile of Earth and water with Capricorn. Because yes, Sunday and Monday, we could get lost in drama because keep in mind, Saturn is the depositor of this Capricorn stellium and squaring off Uranus in Taurus, which is the depositor of Saturn. So there's a lot of group think, a lot of collective, harsh reactions possibly on Sunday, and to add to that, a dash of sarcasm, passion, and intensity. And it doesn't help with Mercury retrograde now for the next few weeks and Mars retrograde in Gemini. So we're feeling restless, we're feeling frustrated, we're feeling like we really want to express those opinions and our beliefs, But folks, this is the time on Sunday to really get grounded and cut out the drama. So until next weekly celestial forecast, happy 2023, because Sunday is indeed the first of the year, and happy new year. Many, many blessings.